Redevelopment Agency. May I have a roll call for the City Council, please?
Council members Draymond.
Here.
Friedman.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Mayor Quintero.
Here.
And may we have a roll call for the agency, please?
Agency members Friedman.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Quintero.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Chairman Draymond.
Here.
Mr. Clerk, may we have your report?
The agenda for the December 1st, 2009 joint public meeting of the Glendale City Council and the Glendale Redevelopment Agency was posted on Wednesday, November 25th, 2009 on the bulletin board outside City Hall. So before you today is a public hearing, Director of Development Services regarding proposed development Hyatt Place Glendale to be located at 225 West Wilson Avenue. 1A is agency resolution certifying and adopting a mitigated negative declaration for the project. At B is a council resolution certifying and adopting a mitigated negative declaration for the project. At C is a council motion approving instrument imposing covenants on real property. At D is a council motion approving variance for an increase to the floor area ratio. At E is an agency motion approving Stage 2 design review and sign program subject to any agency comments. At F is a council motion approving parking plan subject to council comments and conditions. And G is a council motion approving urban art program subject to council comments and conditions.
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to inquire, just again, housekeeping. There's a number of motions and resolutions here. Can we take item 1A and E, items 1A and E together? One is a motion, one is a resolution.
Councilmember Draymond, it's recommended that the agency resolution certifying and the council resolution certifying of the mitigated negative declaration be taken first and separately from E. However, once the agency moves to certify, if the council wants to move to certify the MND and include C and D, that's the motion approving the instrument imposing covenants and the motion approving the variance, the council can move those together at that time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Go to Mr. Starbird.
Let me go to Mr. Lansfane with the report. Bill?
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, Mr. Chairman, members of the Redevelopment Agency, this is a project that is located in our central project area within the downtown specific plan. As was noted by the clerk, there are several council and agency actions. That's why the joint meeting. If you'll recall, when we adopted the downtown specific plan, variances that came with design review were rolled into one package for you to see. That will be heard by the City Council. There are a couple of items that are new, the first time that we're using them. The instrument imposing covenants. If you will recall, in the downtown specific plan, it allows the developer to take advantage of incentives, assuming they enter into either a development agreement or an instrument imposing covenants. That's what that instrument is in lieu of a development agreement. More staff will talk about it more in the presentation. Second is the urban art program. This is the first project that we brought to you that has an urban art component to it. So that is part of the package and one of the approvals for you today. So I'd like to introduce the project manager, Alan Castillo. He'll introduce the project to you, the development team, and then we'll have the rest of the design presentation.
Good afternoon, City Council members and members of the agency. In January 2008, the agency and Comar Investments entered into an exclusive negotiating agreement to negotiate a ground lease for the agency-owned property located at 225 West Wilson, the northeast corner of Central and Wilson Avenues. Staff and the developer team have worked diligently on finalizing the business terms, environmental review, and project design. Considerable progress has been made, and the project is ready to move forward with the approval of the next set of entitlements, which include environmental review and project design. The proposed Hyatt Place Glendale is located within the Central Glendale Redevelopment Project and consists of 11 stories and 172 rooms. The project includes ground floor retail space, conference rooms, garden decks, fitness center, and a pool. Parking for the hotel is provided within 4 subterranean levels with a total parking capacity of 218 vehicles. The environmental review for the project determined that the environmental impacts associated with the projects were able to be mitigated. Impacts that were identified to be less than significant with mitigation measures were mainly construction-related. A mitigated negative declaration was circulated. No comments were received during the comment period relating to the environmental review. However, a letter was received regarding the general project. A copy of the mitigation monitoring report and reporting program is attached to the final MND. Because the project, as Phil was saying earlier, is located within DSP and falls within the Orange Central District, a hotel incentive permitted an increase in height and stories. The DSP required that an agreement or covenant, in this case an instrument imposing covenants on real property, be executed between the city and developer to ensure that the project is built as a hotel. The project is also requesting a variance to increase the floor area ratio. The proposed FAR for the project is 5.90 versus the 5.20, which is what the DSP allows for. The additional increase in FAR will enable the project to provide the desired amenities with its established program for the hotel. Again, Phil had mentioned earlier this September, the Arts and Cultures Commission reviewed the proposed urban art program, and the project unanimously recommended for City Council approval. We now have Bache Hanesian from Comar and Aram Alajajian, the architect, to discuss the Stage 2 design, sign program, and urban art program.
Okay, we'll open the public hearing. We'll need your name for the record, please.
Bache Hanesian, Comar Investments. Chairman Draymond, members of the agency, I want to thank you for having us here. We're very excited today that we're getting closer and closer to developing the Hyatt Place. And it's been a long process, but we're getting closer. And I wanted to thank the city staff for working so well with our team as well. So today what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little introduction to our team, and then we'll get into the details of it. Today we're going to have in our presentation Clint Knox, who's our project manager, going over the green features. And then we're going to have Aram Alajajian with Alajajian Marcosi going over the architectural features. And then our audience today is Chris Dobbins with the Hyatt Place and Rachel Kwok with Matrix Environmental. So I'd like to get started with Clint Knox.
Good afternoon. I just want to start by saying,
for the record,
my name is Clint Knox. I am the project manager for Comar Investments, and just thank you for your time and consideration today. And I don't want to take up too much of your time because Aram does have a great presentation we want to show you. But I just wanted to touch on a few of the sustainable design measures that we've incorporated into this project. To start with, the objective of this project was to provide a sound investment opportunity that would satisfy both our environmental and our economic goals. We thought we'd do this by providing a hotel that offers an enjoyable, healthy environment for its guests, employees, and visitors alike, but also at the same time minimizing the environmental impacts inherent to all development projects. I've organized our green features within the 5 environmental categories of the LEED Green Building rating system. You can find those listed out in the staff report in more detail. At this time, I just wanted to touch base on 2 of the categories and to tell you some of those components that which within each of those categories. The first category is sustainable sites. To start with, the site was selected because of its urban location, its proximity to public transportation, and the ability to have pedestrian access to the surrounding neighborhood. We also selected the site because of the existing infrastructure and because it is a previously developed site. All of these items are beneficial to any sustainable project, and we believe that they're just smart design principles. The second category is water efficiency, and we're all aware of the situation we're in California right now, and we all need to have water conservation measures on our mind. And we, of course, have included these measures in our project as well. These water efficiency measures will reduce the water usage and encourage conservation practices in our project. Some of these measures would include the use of high-efficiency plumbing fixtures, low-flow faucets, and low-flush toilets. We would also be incorporating innovative irrigation design principles that would maintain the native and drought-tolerant plants that we would use. So along with some of these measures that I've just indicated, the project will also be designed to optimize energy performance through a number of engineering and construction techniques. All these features are designed to reduce the building's energy demands. We've also included a number of building materials that are important to achieving good sustainable design as well, and a high level of indoor environmental air quality. These are all techniques that we've tried to incorporate in this program. Our company has always tried to uphold strong stewardship principles, and we're trying to put that into our development now. So this is a short list. As I said, there's more in-depth detail in the staff report on some of these measures. But right now I'd like to bring up Aram, and he can kind of go over some of the architectural features and the art component in a little more detail. Any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clint. Good afternoon, members of committee. My name is Aram Alajajian. I'm the project architect. The address is 320 Arden Avenue, City of Glendale. I'm going to try to be very brief and just basically walk you through the project, through the design, and can I have that? Thank you. Let's go here. Oops. Start from slide 1 here, up here. Well, we started the project about 2 years ago working with Hyatt Hotel. As you know, the project site is Wilson in the central corner. The building would be situated right at the corner, and traffic moving north-south from Central or east-west in Wilson Avenue would be able to come in to the hotel and basically have a drop-off area right underneath this area, at the canopy porte-cochere area. Then the cars would move in, and the parking would be from the Central, and also we'll be living from the alley, which is back of the building, going back to the Wilson or going north towards the Central to the freeway. Now, the second plan here is the roof plan, which will show the emergency helicopter landing area, which is the code-required element when you do any project 7-story and up in California. The landscaping plan here shows the terraces, which are occurring on the second floor, and terraces on the first floor at the street level, where we have the arts component. I'll talk about that in a minute. And basically shows the layout of the building, first floor layout of the building. Parking is situated at the lower level. We have a 4-level of parking accessible from Central Avenue, and around, when you enter to the parking, basically you ramp down on the side, and it's a rotation style parking where you go underneath, and you have a 90-degree parking stalls, double loaded aisles, and basically a checkpoint up here, which will allow the hosts and actually public to come and park at the parking structure. The next slide is the first floor plan, which shows the alley, shows Wilson Avenue on the Central, and it shows the drop-off area. This is where the guests arrive, basically, to check into the hotel. And a hotel lobby is facing to the Wilson Avenue, has its breakfast area also situated facing to the Wilson Avenue, and we do have a retail area with an art component sitting at the corner, and a terrace which will allow people to sit outside and enjoy nice weather in California. Also, on the phase 2, we have revised the plan to add a little retail, maybe a gift shop, facing to the Central Avenue. So that way the entire facade is basically going to be pedestrian friendly with the articulated elevations of the architectural elements, stone and metal and the glass. Administrative offices of the hotel would be located here. We have 2 elevators coming out from the parking structure, the public elevators, and the 3 elevators that would basically help the operation of 11-story hotel will be situated in the lobby. We have a grand stairs where we'll connect to the upper level meeting rooms, a gym, and a small conference room here. We have a laundry room located in the 2nd floor. We have, as I said earlier, we have terraces for right in front of the meeting rooms where the people could congregate or take a break, and then we have the large terrace here. Swimming pool is located on a deck top, which is above the canopy area of the arrival of the hotel. Now, right above the 2nd floor, we have the typical floors, 3rd, 4th, up to 11th floor, where we have typical standard rooms with a double, which queen size beds, a king size, and we have few suite rooms, which would be, some of those would be accessible to disabled. As you go up to the building, the floor area gets more and more reduced, and you can see it from the elevation, or you can see it from the massing of the building. So the upper level, you get fewer and fewer rooms. That way we're creating more and more terraces on the 10th, 9th, 10th, and 11th floor. Viewing the building elevations, we see very interesting, playful architecture where we start from the first floor or a ground floor here, from Wilson Avenue or to the Central Avenue. We have actually spent a good time with working with the staff, try to articulate the entire pedestrian street level, which you have colonnades sticking in and out throughout the property, and it will give you easy access for the pedestrian to go throughout the street front or throughout the project from one end to the other, and going towards the Central Avenue. Now, the materials being used is we also have a sample and material board here. I can briefly walk you through this. We have a travertine base which will run from the 1st floor up to the podium, the 2nd floor, and some of those travertine elements that you're viewing on the facade were highlighted more of like a yellowish color. We have the glass elements, which would be the entire storefront on the 1st floor, the meeting rooms, you can see the 2nd floor, and the curtain wall glass applies to the rooms, as well as the windows will have a clear glass. We also have a metal panel, which would be deforming the entire body of the building. The art element, which is situated at the corner, I'll come to that in a minute. Before I talk about the art element, let me show you the section. This is the building itself, where we have a 4-level of subterranean parking underneath, and 1st floor actually is higher than the typical levels, and the 2nd floor has a little bit increased height in order to accommodate the meeting rooms. Now, if we look at the overall building from this is from the corner of Central and Wilson, looking to the northeast, and you could see the art component. Now, for this purpose, we invited the world-famous artist Euros to cooperate with us, and he's done a sculpture which called Conversation, the piece, and they will be sitting right at the corner of the both streets. Basically, the piece of sculpture will be belonging more to the city or to the streets or to the pedestrian, rather than placing something inside the building, which would be visible only for those who are being guests of the hotel. And incorporating that, sculpture basically will start dictating in an overall setting or a streetscape on a Wilson Avenue and a Central Avenue. And gradually it becomes an element which is technically used in the walkways or in the ceilings, or in a sort of called architecture wall, where it's sculpted with the elements of the pieces of this Conversation sculpture. So And jumping ahead of myself here, this is another slide where we're looking south from the Central Avenue. You can see the elements coming in and out. There's a good articulation on the building. And just to continue more here, this is from Wilson Avenue, looking north towards Central. And a few more night shots. This is how it's going to look at nighttime. And if we view this is the sculpture at the corner, art piece, and the public spaces, and then we have the element here which kind of screens the swimming pool behind that point. And if you look at the swimming pool from inside, either at nighttime or daytime, those elements, a color glass and a stainless steel, will interact together, will make it very interesting. And that's the next slide of the pool deck area, which is open to the sky. And we also have a short DVD just to show you it's an animated model of the building, just to get you an overall feel of the massing in the building itself. Play that, yeah. Just 1 second. It's here. This one here. Where the sound is, but okay, this concludes my presentation, and I'd like to thank the staff who tirelessly for many, many months, worked with us on this project. They've been very cooperative and very helpful, and thank everybody at the City of Glendale. Thank you. If you have any questions, be happy to answer.
Okay, that's it for the presentation.
Yes, other than to say, staff is recommending approval of the actions before you, and subject to any of your comments.
Okay, well, I know we have questions. I'll start with the architect. The helipad, I know, is a requirement, and I'm sure the size is also sort of a standard size. But is there some way to, just like the embassy suites, the helipad is sticking out over the hotel literally on two sides? Is there some way to perhaps use the same square footage, make it more rectangular, rather than you're shaking your head?
I'm afraid not, because those are state standard size that are set, 50 by 50. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm going to suggest that you have a detail on that, and there's been a lot more attention paid.
Oh,
to
no, I know
materials
it's
in the
better
screen.
than the one at the embassy suites.
Yeah, as we all know, there were some issues with the embassy suites, the way the helipad looks up there. When it first opened, we all thought it's going to be like a modern element coming off the building or making a feature architectural statement. But we heard a lot about it, so I don't want to get into that. In contrary, what we try to do here, and with the staff's help, and we review every single element of that, that's one of the reasons we did the 3D, to ensure that we're covering the entire element from down below and also the angles that would basically it's a wind preventer, on the sides of the where the helicopter arrives, to barricade that and to make it part of the building element. And the materials using for cladding it is the same as we use in the building. It's metal panels. So we try to integrate that as much as we could, but there are certain codes imposed by the states or federal
I knew
code
what
that
the
we
answer
cannot
was.
change.
I just wanted to check. Well, let me say that I'm very, very pleased with the hotel. Number one, I'm pleased that the developers are going forward, and Hyatt is going forward with the project, at least to this point. All we read in the paper is the exact opposite: projects being canceled and find the funding, et cetera, et cetera. So, number one, I'm very pleased that you're continuing the process. And then number two, I'm very pleased with the design. I knew I would be. This particular architectural firm, I knew there would be no question it would be a great project, and it looks great from my perspective. I think it's really a great design. I love the art. And, well, anyway, at first blush, I'm very happy to see the project and happy you're moving it forward. Now, there's some questions, I'm sure. Ms. Friedman?
Thank you. I just have a couple of small questions, and first I'll say that I think it's a very exciting project, particularly for this location. I couldn't be more pleased than to see a Hyatt there at the corner of Wilson and Central. I just had a few questions. The terraces, are those for individual units, or are those shared by the whole floor, by all the guests, the terraces up towards the top?
They're shared by all the guests, basically, and we're not 100% decided on that. Those could be green roofs where we have some, potted landscape and so forth, in order to help to enhance the entire terracing as much more than it shows right now. But that's the purpose. They're not private terraces, no.
And are any of them on the actual roof? Because when you were doing the 3D model flyover, it looked like there were some pockets away from the helipad that looked, I wasn't sure if those were terraces or for utilities or what those were.
There were some of them would be actual terraces, but some of them would be as functionally as a roof element.
So up on the roof itself, there might be some more
Right.
opportunities for terraces.
Absolutely.
Right, and you anticipated my question, which was about whether you had considered doing any sort of green roof type elements.
We're considering that. We're working with Clint Knox and management of the hotel to assure that we're putting the right product over there.
And in terms of the green elements, I'm very glad that you think that you'll be equivalent to either LEED Gold or LEED Silver. Along those lines, did you ever give any thought to automated parking systems as a way to reduce not only the need to have lighting and air conditioning, but also to make that foundation smaller?
Yes, actually, we talked about that. It's sort of in progress right now. We're talking to our consultants, and we also need the hotel's blessing on that. How we're going to operate and management. So that entirely will be. It's a very desirable move from our part, but it will be also hotel management's decision on that part to make it happen. So which will we eventually? I believe we will do that.
Right, I know that that's not the most common thing yet, but
Right.
I do think that it's something to look at, and as we go forward, and I'm certainly planning on approving this today, but as we go forward, if it's something that you do decide that you want to do, I would be willing, and I can't speak for my colleagues, to make it very easy to allow that to happen. I think it would be a real benefit. So that's all the questions I have.
Thank you.
We just had, I was part of the presentation that Ms. Friedman's referring to, and I agree. I think time has come. I think it's almost a selling point in terms of for the guest. It's going to be something quite unique.
We all agree.
Mr. Weaver.
Almost forgot. In case you did. On the swimming pool, the two glass panels at either end, are they visible glass? You can see through? They're opaque?
They're opaque. They're opaque for the privacy purpose. the color and the tint, and they're tempered glass for the security
So
purpose.
even though it's above ground,
Yeah,
they need more privacy?
right.
So if you're in the swimming pool area, nobody will be able to look out at all.
Unless you're in a helicopter, you can look down and see.
Is that a preferred way nowadays, or is it just in this particular case?
We thought to have a privacy around the pool area where we have an opening from the top, which air definitely circulates through the pool area, and it's more open. We view a couple of hotels besides the Embassy Suites, which has the swimming pool sitting on a deck right at the corner. I think privacy for the clientele comes first rather than opening it up and exposing this. They feel a lot more uncomfortable when we interview a couple of people. It's just a suggestion, but if any time between now and the working drawings or the process of building, Hyatt decides that that glass should be clear glass, view glass, and then we wouldn't have any problem doing that.
I'm just trying to put myself in the pool area and say, okay, would I want to be able to look out at all to not necessarily looking at what's across the street, but
Right. However, we have some elements there, if I wasn't too clear on that, where the cutouts of the portions of the sculptures that facing to the outside, there will be also applied some clear glass, so they will acting like windows, so you can look out from the pool area. But they will be acting like windows. There's no openness, from there to the street. And the feeling was when we were designing that privacy in a pool area and the atmosphere in a pool area is much more important than facing the traffic to the street, and people feel a lot more uncomfortable being out there and absorbing the traffic and the noise and visibility of the scene from the street on, seeing the people in a.
Will the pool be heated?
I'm sorry?
Will the pool be heated?
It could be. Yeah, we haven't got to that point. Yes,
because with the roof open, I can see during the summer the angle of the sun will get down in there. Part of the day, you have direct sunlight. You're not going to be out there getting a suntan too often, though. And in the winter, with the sun further south, you won't get the sun or whatever. So if the pool is heated,
it's a good idea
it could
to
be
have a
used
heated pool
24/7, rather than not. The other, because I've never asked the question, the windows in the hotel, are they single pane, double pane, or what do you do nowadays on the windows, especially the ones facing south?
Oh, they're double glazed,
double pane now?
Of course, yeah.
For sound and
standards, yeah.
And the other reasons. Okay, that's only questions. I'll have comments after.
Okay, other questions?
I don't have any questions, but I'll make some comments.
Okay, Mr. Alajajian, could we see the board? That's been a tradition here at the Redevelopment Agency.
I thought that went by the wayside.
Mr. Mayor, and while he's showing the board, maybe a quick question. The stair tower elements
Yes.
and the glass, at night, will the stairs show through that glass? The towers will be lit. These are the
Right.
emergency stair towers, right?
Right.
Well, what will that look like at night?
Well, in a Hyatt program, they have this marquee which called the edge, which would be the top. So that naturally we're going to be illuminating that a lot more than a staircase itself. But since the staircase glass is translucent glass, and the lighting within the corridors or the stair area will show from the outside, so that would be
you will
lit
see
as
the
well.
staircase, and it's the same kind of glass on
Yes.
both towers.
Yes.
Okay.
Same glass, but the tower at the back, which is facing to the alley, will not have any lights. You won't see it.
Exterior
Right,
lights.
Exterior.
Okay.
Right.
But from the material board, the color of the marble, it's a lot less peach than what is shown, or yellow than what's shown on the drawings, which is good.
Right.
I mean, it's this color, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The folks at home who can't see it.
When we render this, sometimes the computer picks up a different shades and tones, and reflections from different colors, and you get a little bit different shades there. But that's the actual color we're proposing.
The pressed glass, the decorative pressed glass, the seaweed poured, I think is
Right.
just fantastic. That's really going to be so completely different, and that corner's going to be something.
That glass would be used at the lower level where the pedestrian mostly counter-facing the hotel. That would be at the sitting area next to the landscaping, and we think that's a good addition to that element as well. Thank you.
Okay, are there, now we ready? Mr. Draymond, did you have?
Well, Mr. Alajajian and everyone else here from the project, good job with the design. And it's interesting to watch how it has evolved over time. For me, it's particularly interesting because it was one of the first projects when I first came to the council, and then ended up as vice chair and then chair of redevelopment. It was one of the first projects that I had the opportunity to look at, and it is terrific. It's interesting again, though, how you have brought the design along. You'll recall originally the heavy water feature and so on. I think it's a terrific looking building. It's a nice modern design. It will be a terrific signature building for a part of the city, I think, that needs it very badly. I'm also happy that we're taking a surface lot and making a more efficient, useful purpose for it. I love the art element. And again, it just points to the sense of innovation that you all have brought to this design. When I look at the board there, again, the pressed glass is another innovative element. This is just terrific. You haven't even spoken about the other elements that are shown in the report: the interiors, the rooms themselves, the design, the restaurant area, the gallery, cafe, and so on. It is just truly a beautiful, beautiful design. And so thank you. Thank you for sticking with it. And Mr. Alajajian, I have greatly appreciated your entire style in working on this project with you. Thank you.
Any other comments, Mr. Najarian?
Thank you.
And Mr. Weaver?
So first, I'd like to thank Comar Investments for sticking with this. Council and the agency remembers there was a location, a.k.a. the Panda Inn site, where you had expressed a desire to locate a small boutique hotel. That site didn't quite work out for us, but you didn't throw it in. You kept faith in Glendale, and we kept faith in you. You found this spot, and it certainly worked out. You've given it a very nice contemporary design on what perhaps is going to be our Brand Boulevard annex, or adjacent, Central Avenue, home of high-powered law firms and other sort of locations, dentists, etc. I'm very happy with the sustainability aspects that you've incorporated. I think that's very good. This whole council clearly supports incorporating those types of designs. The art features are very nice. I like the way that the corner piece is put out there, so it doesn't. It's not intimately tied with the hotel, but it does look like a piece of public art from the city. So, to the extent that people will look at that and compliment the city of Glendale for your efforts, I applaud you for that. I'm glad that we do have the parking, and some of that parking is open to the public, if I'm not mistaken. So we're not losing any public spots. Just a very nice site, and it's going to be part of our new vibrant downtown where folks can stay at the Hyatt and access Central Avenue, Midbrand, Galleria, the Americana, go down and buy a car in the South Brand area, go to see the Neon Museum, and all the other fun stuff that's going to be happening in Glendale. So I'm very much in favor of the design, very contemporary, tasteful, and I think it fits right into our city.
Mr. Weaver.
If you recall, when this first came up, I voted against it because of the method in which the project was developed. But then after I saw your design, I said I wanted to be able to go in there and eat, and I did not want to get shot by voting against it before I got in the door. This design, I tried to find something I didn't like, and I couldn't. The articulation on all four walls, the way the lighting will work at night, I think are all positive. As I told you, the only question was wondering what's going to be like when I'm in the pool area. I don't want to feel like I'm down in the YWCA or the YMCA and closed in. If I'm right, I'm also seeing water come out of the art wall into the pool. So you'll have the sound of water at all times in there, which will be a nice feature. I like the layout, everything in it. I had two concerns. One, we have the parking in there, but as I understand, talking to staff, nobody driving around town is going to know there's public parking in there. So I understand that is a city problem, not your problem, that the city will have to put up proper signage to say public parking here, go around the corner of Wilson, go up Central, and in. So I just want to make sure staff does adequately address that, because that parking lot to begin with is not used very much. So I do know if I'm going anywhere in that area, to be able to go into the parking there in the summer where it's covered, as compared to some of the surface lots, I would do it. I don't know yet how we're going to put parking meters in there, how we're going to handle it, but that's for another day. What else did I have? The signage. Coming out of the alley, will you be able to make only a right turn, or is the street widening going to allow you to make a left turn out of the alley to go east? Right turn?
Right only.
Okay, so
from the alley southbound.
There'll be signage there that'll say don't go left, just like out here where the Bank of America, where they go left regardless of what the sign says. Hopefully they'll read the signs down there. Other than that, I don't know. You took care of the helicopter landing pad. You knew we were going to ask about that. The open space, the way it's laid out, like I said, I can't find any problems with it. Only thing I believe in the long run, people are not going to be running down to the Hyatt because it's now within distance of Brand Boulevard and stuff. Business traveler stuff will stay there, but what I believe it will be is a catalyst for further development around the hotel, to the south, to the east, to the north, and that's what this will spur. So in the short term, it's not going to make that big an impact until we get more things feeding off this hotel. So I think it's good. So let's get on with it.
Okay, I have one speaker card, Herbert Milano.
Mayor Quintero, members of the City Council, agency staff, my name is Herbert Milano. I support the very smart design of this building, and I particularly like the visually accessible public art. I think it's a fantastic way to move in that direction. Hopefully one day we'll become close to what Portland has, where we see public art everywhere around downtown. It's truly a gorgeous architecture. What I would like to address are the issues concerning the mitigation aspects that is before you. And I was wondering if in the hotel business there is a way to measure the expected water use per day for a facility like this. I wonder if they have measures such as expected average water usage per guest room per day. I don't know if there is, but how do we compare this particular entity with other similar type of hotel constructions, and how do we mitigate the usage of water as much as possible? As you all know, California is moving towards putting a limitation on the water table as well, and we'll probably have to reduce that by about 20%, with regard, not the water table, but the actual usage that is pumped from it. The other issue I have is with regard to waste disposal. I would like to know what percentage of the refuse will be recycled, and if there will be other steps into the future to recycle it even further, because as you all know, the Shoal Canyon landfill will be approximating its full depletion within about 14 years or less. So we don't know if the city in the future will take up the initiatives other cities have to reach a zero waste by 2020. That has been the goal for many other cities, and what mitigations the hotel will take if we move in that direction to truly reduce significantly the amount of waste that is generated. Other than that, those are all my only questions. I'd like to submit this as part of the record.
Okay. Are there any other comments? All right.
What's the motion, staff?
For myself, let me just reiterate what everyone else has said, how happy we are that the developer is moving forward, and we want to thank you. I think we're all very satisfied with the sort of distinct architectural design. It's going to do wonderful things for that corner, that's for sure. And in fact, it's going to do wonderful things for Wilson and for Central. I think it's going to be a financial success. I think over time people will want to stay in this hotel, and so I'm glad we're taking this giant step forward, and there's more to come, and whatever you do, don't get cold feet. Make sure you keep working on this project.
Mr. Mayor, before we go any further, I think I saw some body language. And City Attorney, did you have a comment to make?
Other
Maybe
than
I'm
to
mistaken.
close the public hearing,
All right, yeah, we'll close the public hearing.
well, there was one comment, and that is that the details concerning the public parking, the accessibility, and all of that will be worked out during the DDA negotiation process. We'll have a reciprocal easement agreement, and those details will be coming back to you for review. That will include appropriate signage and other information for the public to know where those parking spaces are located.
Okay, very good. All right, I'm ready for the motion.
I did have one comment. We worked for many years in developing the downtown strategic plan. So when things like this come in, you didn't need a bushel full of variances. Yet here we are again having to do a variance. From what I understand, a year or so ago, we had the ability to make a change in how the floor area ratio was done. So we wouldn't be considering a variance tonight, but we rejected it. And I'm just wondering if it's worthwhile. I don't know if this is a standalone and we won't see this again, or whether we ought to agendize to look at this component, because I thought we covered it, and I guess we maybe slipped up.
Hassan, if I could, before, to address this project, and then I'll let Hassan address in general. To address this project, it does exceed FAR, but it does not exceed the other parameters that we put on stories and
I understand all that.
And height.
I understand all that.
And to address Mr. Weaver's comment, it is possible for us, because we are coming with some amendments to the downtown specific plans fairly soon to address the entertainment district. We can include this in our discussions. We had included it in the past. There wasn't enough council support. We can bring it back again and again.
I'd like to just see where we missed.
We will be happy to do that, if that's the desire of the council.
Well, I'd like it if anybody else would.
Yeah, no, I think we need it.
And just one final comment. It better look like the drawings in here when it's built. I don't want to look in here and then look at that and says, what happened? Right? We've been down that road too many times. We're coming after you if you don't. With that, I'll make the motions, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Weaver.
We said we could do 1A independently for the agency.
So so we have a motion and a second on 1A, which is an agency resolution. Mr. Kasakian, if you'd call the roll, please.
Agency members. Agency members Friedman,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Quintero,
Yes.
Weaver,
Aye.
Chairman Draymond.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I move 1B for the city council.
Second.
Take B, C, and D together.
What, B, C, and D together? So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Council members Draymond,
Yes.
Friedman,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Weaver,
Aye.
Mayor Quintero.
Yes.
We have a motion for...
For
the-
1E.
Thank you.
Second.
And a second. Okay. Mr. Kasakian, let's call the roll.
Agency members Friedman,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Quintero,
Yes.
Weaver,
Aye.
Chairman Draymond.
Yes.
And on F, may I ask, it says, subject to council comments and conditions. We didn't put any on, so do we have to have a motion on that one at all? We do? Even with no comments, okay. Okay, I'll move then 1, F, and G for the council.
Second.
Roll call.
Council members Draymond,
Yes.
Friedman,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Weaver,
Aye.
Mayor Quintero.
Yes. Okay, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So move for the council.
Second.
And we have a motion to adjourn for the agency.
So moved.
Second.
The agency is adjourned. Thank you.